empowerment and release and happiness and just the help with you. The reason I have chosen comedy is because it is euphoric. It's better than medicine. It causes the natural things in your body to just fight off things. Laughter is just like a very good medicine in the negativity realm. Like how we know right now, everybody need to be laughing. The reason I started doing comedy and comedic empowerment is because as a child, I went through some childhood abuse. My story is similar to Janice. And I do want to say Janice, I'm like, that's Janice, but I don't got two Janice. It's actually three Janices.
No, one's Janet.
Janet. Okay. So my story is kind of similar to Janet. The difference is my abuse was infiltrated by my father. And the reason that this is significant is because it has taken me a very long time to recognize God, because I put him in the same bracket as a man. Also put him in the same bracket as just a little girl. Your father is the main person in your life when you're growing up. And so when that relationship is destroyed, it's kind of hard to be over to God, because you also view him as a father, and that's the language they use for it biblically. So it's hard to have a connection with your spiritual father if you don't have one with your natural father. So with that being embedded with me and having to deal with abuse, I started my life rather chaotically. For all the abuse I went through, I grew up trying to put myself through the same abuse in order to control it. So since sex was taken, I started giving away sex and saying, well, this is mine, I own it now. And so I'm going to do what I want to with it, not knowing that I was also living in the same cycle of abuse that was put on me. So I was taking myself through that same thing again. So once I found that how I was living was not popular or correct, or was not going to give me the things I wanted in life, because I was unfulfilled. I could not have positive relationships. I did not trust women, and I did not trust men. So really I was just going through life and relationships playing games. I was just like, I was being a character in a relationship until I got tired that I would move on to someone else, and you'd be heartbroken and you were trying to figure out what's wrong with you. Why are you acting like that? It was everything wrong with me. I could tell you why I was acting like that. I just knew I was tired of dealing with your emotions, and I didn't want to love back. I'm sorry you love me, I'm to know. And so we put your emotions. So that was pretty much how it went. So let's fast forward. In 2000, the significance, my mother and my father were both in and out of my life in prison for like the first 20 years of my life. So I pretty much grew up with my grandmother and grandfather and different strangers, like kind of passing us around. And we got abused more as we was passed from different people, because everybody was like moving us around, because nobody wanted to keep like 3 kids and all this kind of stuff. So as I got older and I wanted to deal with the things that were going on with me, I started to go to counseling. And I went to MHMR because that was the first line that Medicaid gave you, and that's where I was getting my insurance from. So I went to MHMR. And going to MHMR, I was in an incest counseling class, and I met a lot of young ladies in that class. But the most eye-opening thing that happened to me in counseling was a young lady that was there. Her issue was similar to mine. However, the person that had abused her was a minister. And so her complexity with God was way far more different than my complexity with God. And so after hearing her story, it kind of made me back up in mine. And for whatever reason, when this young lady spoke, and it was like one person could talk, each person in the class would like give an answer to help that person. Well, this particular day, none of the other people wanted to talk. They only wanted me to talk. And so I was just talking to her, and finally, the counselor for the class said, Anastasia, I'm going to get up from the chair, and I want you to get in the chair. And that continued for 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, some of the ladies were saying, well, I think you go to the chair, you're more feedbacky, and
It's okay. It's all
I'm
right.
back.
You got it. You got it. It's all right.
Okay, so it hurt telling me this.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Let's take this to the Lord in the word of prayer because.
So it hurt telling me this. I started to try to deal with my demons. First one I wanted to deal with because it had been like a whole wide of incidents in my whole family. Like my mother had been molested, my grandmother had been molested. And one of the things I had knew to do, even though I was a teenage parent, when I was born, when I had my first child, I told God, I said, none of the things that happened in my life will touch my children. And that was important to me because God kept them safe as far as I knew. But when the counselor had me to sit in the middle of that class and all those young ladies gave me their feedback, at that time I did not know who I was. I had not found Anastasia. I was a character, just going through life, playing roles, whatever people needed me to be. And so, fast forward, I was about in my 20s, so in 2000, in 99, I caught a drug case and I went to jail. And it was when I was in jail that God started showing me my gift. And it was so strange to be in jail and to be the person that I was because everybody kept saying, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. And I was a drug addict, but they were saying that as a person I was not supposed to be there. And I didn't get it. So, upon my release, I got to get to go to Nexus rather than going to prison. They were trying to give me 20 years in prison. And as fate would have it, I had actually got assaulted while I was in jail by two women. A lady professing to be a guy and then another girl. They tried to actually rape me. And I didn't think women raping women. It was just I'm like, what? And so that stirred up all the things from my childhood again. And I was thinking okay, so you can actually get, I thought this happened in men prisons, not in a real girl jail. It was just so far out that I could not, it took me a minute when I got out of jail to put it back together. And so, listen, you put one together, this story had me tell this. I have never had to do this in Southern comedy. We regular talking, this is different. We got to bear with me. So,
It's okay.
fast forward, I go through life. I get out of jail. I get into Nexus. I graduate Nexus's program. I had never graduated anything in my life. I was so intelligent that I could get around stuff. And anything that I didn't want to do, people would do for me just because my personality was so magnetic. People would just do things for me. And they were enabling me not knowing that they just thought I was like a sweet, bubbly person, so they were just helping me do stuff. But I just want to say that when I was released and I went to Nexus, and it was a rehabilitation center. And I was on there. The thing was, all the ladies there were heavy drug addicts, and I never thought that weed was a drug. I really didn't. I was just it's cool. It's nothing hurt nobody. And so when I go to this rehabilitation center, and when I got in there and I started listening to all these ladies' stories, I identified as an addict. And all the ladies were upset. They was just weed ain't drug, and you can't like claim your sickness is like ours. It was like really crazy for me. And so then I had to go, I was an addict, and I'm like, so, no, like they say I'm too strong to be molested. Like we can't believe you've been molested because you're a comedian and you can do all this stuff and talk. So they didn't want to accept that. Damn, here I am saying I'm a drug addict. I hate being heroin, and there are other addicts that we know you're not an addict. Weed is not a drug, and so more confusion again. And so I left Nexus, and that was where I wrote that's when my writing creativity like just went through the roof. Every lady that left there, it was 22 women that graduated before me. Every woman that left there, I wrote them a customized poem based on their life story. And I'll never forget, the day I was getting ready to graduate from Nexus, I had this dress. And it came from Cobert's, and I had this hat in this purse. And this older gentleman that I was dating, he bought me, like, he was a minister, and he bought me, like, the hat, the purse, the dress. And there was a lady there named Miss Brenda Street, and she's a counselor now to this day. And I was walking down the hallway, and I was like, all happy, I'm gonna get out of Nexus, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And she stopped me in the hallway, and she goes, you on a mission to seek and destroy all men. And she literally cut my spirit in half because what she said so resonated in my spirit, and I had not found the words for what I felt, because I felt that the way I felt, I was owed that feeling, and that it was okay for me to feel that, and that regardless of what the world thought, that it was okay for me to operate in this manner because of what had happened to me. I thank God for a change of mind, because I would kill myself living the way that I was living. But when she told me that, it spurred me into a cycle of change, to change my life, to change the way I was behaving, to change the way I treated people, and to change the way I viewed myself. Because the whole time I had been living, I had only been surviving. I had not been living. I had literally just been going through life trying to make it, not enjoying anything. And everything that I enjoyed was false. I would only hang around people if I was high or intoxicated. Once I got sober, I didn't like none of the people I hung with. It was so crazy. I was like, I'm like you, and you're disgusting. I didn't like anybody once I got sober. None of the people that I hung with were people of character that I would hang with in my sanity. And so that grew me. That took me to another level of growth. Upon leaving Nexus, I went to beauty school and got into hair. I was a class clown at beauty school. This is where my comedy career starts. I was in beauty school just doing what it took to get by, still trying in survival mode. And a friend of mine that was there, she said, you need to take that to stage. She said, when you're gone, this whole room is dull. She said, everybody looks for you. When I would miss one day in school, it would be like 12 people calling my phone, students, teachers, like, we need your energy, we need your energy, we need your energy. And when you are dark on the inside, but other people see light in you, it enables you to push past what's dark in your life and try to hold on to the light. And so all those women pushed me to be a comedian, My first time on stage was March the 27th of 2000. I came in the Addison Improv with 30 women, paying $25 a piece on my first show. And those women so believed in me. And it was so crazy how I got the position. Nanette, my friend, one of the girls at the school had called Nanette Leon, K104, and she made me do like a little quick, like little comedy thing on the radio. I made her laugh, and she told me to come to Fat Tuesday to do the thing. And when I originally went, it was on the 20th. And they said, no, it's not this Tuesday, it's the next Tuesday, which ended up being on my mom's birthday, the 27th. And a lot of significant things happened on my mom's birthday in my life. But when I went to improv, those young ladies had so much faith in me. Nanette was not going to let me get on stage because I was like 10 minutes late. She went to, the ladies went to beating the table. Okay. The ladies went to beating on the table saying, we want Anastasia, we want Anastasia, we want Anastasia. Until Nanette finally let me get on stage. I went on stage. I got nervous, and I had a habit of sucking my thumb. I'm actually trying to unstop starting. I don't know what's going on, but I unstopped 6 months, start back again for something stressful in my life. But I sucked my thumb, and when I stood up to do comedy, just a major fear came over me. And I told the crowd, I said, hold on, let me suck my thumb for a couple seconds, and I'm gonna come back to y'all. And I sat down on this stool, and in all innocence and purity, I put my thumb in my mouth, and it brought me so much clarity and peace. When I stood up on that stage, I did a show that was so phenomenal. I had 7 ovations across the room, my first time on stage, and I said, I found where I'm supposed to be. I got off that stage, Shucky Ducky, which is a very popular, well-known comedian. He has this thing where he says, Shucky Ducky, quack, quack, or something. He walked up to me and he said, I've been doing comedy 18 years. He said, whatever you do, don't get out the game. He said, this is for you. He said, if this is your first time, you are already better than me, and I've been doing this for 18 years. I'm going to speed forward because I don't know where I'm at. It's 20 minutes. Okay. Well, anyway, let's tell this. No matter what you're going through, the reason that I became a career empowerment specialist is no matter what you're going through, if you can find some kind of comedy in it, some kind of laughter, or pull it from whatever energy that you have, to find some silver lining to your dark cloud, it will help you get through so much more than just trying to hold on to it and figure it out in your head. Find something to laugh about in your pain. I can't say you all the time.
No, come back here. Okay, so, it must have been about a month ago. Are you okay? You good? Give me a hug.
Yeah.
And Paul and I went to, can I anoint her? Yeah. Paul and I went to Addison, and you may have seen the photo on Facebook. And I went into the bathroom, and I'm in the restroom area, and I heard this amazing voice. I'm like, goodness, what is it? So I came out, and Anastasia was standing there in your black and white hat, all decked out. Yes. And she's fixing her eyelash. So we're both like trying to make sure our eyelashes are not crooked, right? So we began talking. And something said to me, you need to talk to her about her comedy. I didn't know her from anyone, but the Lord knew. He knew I needed to be there on this day, on this time, at this time, in that bathroom when she came in.
You good?
I don't know, but I won't wish you.
It's like, that's the word. Yes, thank God.
You good?
Yes, ma'am.
And she's been calling me almost every day. And can I talk about the car?
Yes, ma'am.
So we were gonna have the event in Dallas. And I found out that Anastasia didn't have a car to come to Fort Worth. So the day I called, you called me. I was sitting there thinking, Lord, I need to find a way to get Anastasia here. Maybe I can bring her to my house. She can spend the night with me. We had the whole conversation. And she goes, what'd you say?
I said, God already fixed that.
You said no. Wow. I got a car. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm gonna fix it.
Can I just add on?
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
I just want to say that when I met Miss Kai, I actually met her husband before I met her. I was harassing him about her coat, not knowing that this was his lovely wife, because he came in and his spirit was so like sweet when he was told me a coat to bring it to you. And I was like, I saw you bringing me a coat. He goes, no, this is for my princess. He got my queen or my princess or something he referred to her as. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And then I go on stage and I'm looking out and I see him and I see her and I'm like, that's the lady. When she started speaking and they were saying all her accolades and I was like, oh my God, that's the lady that I was talking to in the bathroom and that's the guy who the clothes. I'm like, God, gonna make something happen with him. And little did I know that I would be here amongst all you beautiful, intelligent, empowered women. And I just want to say, I am such a big fan of numbers, and it's 11 of us in here. That is a master number. It cannot be broken. It cannot be undone, and there's a number that controls and stabilizes. And I don't know if you know nothing about numerology. You think it's a double number, wrong one is a double number. And that means it's a master number. So I am just happy to be here, and it was only 11 of us, because that was just the perfect amount of us that needed to be here. And it was that I say whatever you want to say, because I'm like a manager, I'm a comedian, so I talk too much. I can't tell my testimony about how I got over my child molestation. The reason, no, it was not something like that. I was actually in church. Okay, so I want to tell this because it's significant, and I already shared with Janice, I want to share with the rest of you. The way that God delivered me from my childhood abuse, he just put the icing on the cake, March the 1st, but the original when he started the major work was actually like March the 13th of 2014. I had went to do a couple show music, came back to Dallas because the ladies prayed for me and they didn't get to finish the prayer. So when I came back to Dallas, I asked God to finish the work that they had started. And when I got in the prayer line, God told me, I was saying, take everything out from the root. That's all I was saying, just remove everything from the root. The Spirit said, say the seed. So I said, okay. I said, oh Lord, remove everything from the root that made the seed. Then the Spirit said, say the hand. I was like, okay. Lord, remove everything from the hand that planted the seed that gave it roots. And then it said the person. And it took me a while to formulate that because I was scared of what the person was. And when I said it, my father's face came out the ground like 3D and it just like hit me. And it was like he was there in the moment and it was so real. And I went back to the church meetings and I called my father and I told him I forgive you, I love you. Matter of fact, I thank you for what you took me through because had you not did what you did, God could not use me for the purpose in which he intended. And so I told him I released him from all guilt or anything like that. And some time passed, and last year in December, he was got put in hospice and was on his deathbed. And I went to see him in December and to talk to him, to give him an opportunity to also ask for forgiveness because he had never
said anything to me. And I don't know if he was sick or just loosey, but he goes, I don't have any regrets and I don't need to be forgiven for anything. So I left and I was very vexed, and I was told the hospital people, if he don't call me, let him die by himself. And I said all these evil things, but God knew my heart regardless of what was coming out of my mouth. So I just did bury my father March 1st. I had to take him off of life support. And if there was ever a monumental moment in my life, that was it. Because I got to see the person who would cause me all my pain, the root of my pain. I got to see him in a different light. I wasn't angry with him. I wasn't bitter. And I actually felt sorry for him. And he was already, they said he was clinically dead. And so what I did was, because I know the spirit is alive and the body is dead, I kept talking to his spirit. And I told him, I said, I forgive you. I said, I hope you hear me. I said, because I forgive you. I said, I'm not angry with you or anything. And I just want you to transition peacefully. And don't let anything that we had between us keep you in the transition. And I even went further to ask God that if the thing he did to me was the thing that kept him bound to hell, then to remove that as well, and then have a free passage. And my father had not moved the whole time we had been there. They said he had never moved or swayed or anything, but when I said that, his face turned to the side and a tear rolled down. I continued to tell him how much I loved him, and regardless of him, whatever he did, I loved him, I loved him, I loved him. I just kept saying I love you over and over because I could see his heart beat thing like going down. And I consistently just told him I love him, I love him, I forgive you, and I accept you, and like I am a part of you regardless of this. And he turned his face again and 2 tears rolled down. And then he passed away. And for me, that said to me that his soul had heard and he had left in peace. And I just want to say that a lot of us, when we've been abused, we think that we want to get the person back. And you think you want to be the person to pull the trigger or the person to take their life away. You don't. And when you get it was so awesome of God to give me that, because it was the forced hand. It was not something that I wanted to do. I had a brother that lived in love that could have been in charge and did it. I kept giving the job to my uncles, my aunts, everyone. Like I had given permission to everyone, but the hospital kept saying no. And I was the second power of attorney. I wasn't even the first, matter of fact. But it was the will of God for me to be the one to do it. And so when I went there and I released him, it was not an animosity, it was no nothing. And I stayed there till his last breath. And what God said to me was, I'm going to get let go. What God said to me was, the root of all your pain is now buried. It's one thing to plant something and for it to come up. But when you bury something, it's covered. And so he said, the seed that was planted has now been buried. And the roots are going to go back the way that they came. And so I'm free. And I am released. And I thank y'all for y'all time.
It is never my design for the women you see here today to come. I ask everyone. And the scripture says that many are chosen.
You come.
Yes, thank you. And so you're chosen. And you're chosen. You're chosen. Somebody thank you for blessing us with your story, your presence. I'm so happy that you got a car. Praise the Lord for that. And each of you has given a testimony. And I never asked you to do that, but you did. I just said, tell your story, that's all I said. And you've done that. And you blessed everyone in this room today, especially me. Especially me. And now, I would like to introduce my John Maxwell leadership coach. it says a lot to me when two people have the same business. We do. And when we can share the space together. I met Michelle 2 weeks ago. And I knew that I had a space on the agenda for a leadership coach panel. And I just didn't feel comfortable doing it. So I asked Michelle if she would come because I know, and share, because I know that our training is the same. You've been with Maxwell how long?
Just a year.
2 years?
Just 1 year.
1 year. And I've been with them since 2015. Yeah. And so I know the quality of the training that she's had. I know she's someone who can consult with you, coach you, and she's got a mastermind just like mine, it's around here somewhere. We share that training. And it's not too often you can find two women that can share business. Because her business is the same as mine, but rare that I find someone I can share this with. So thank you. She's a black belt, I'm not. There you go. So Michelle Pearson, come on there, give her a big hand. Play with it. Make sure it's important. Is it working?
Okay, so I got enough. You guys can hear me without a mic.
Yeah.
I'm going to be using my hands. Janice, is that okay if I don't use it? Janice,
Is that okay if she
is
doesn't?
that okay if I don't use it? Because I'm still using my hands? What should I?
Just give me, I'll turn it off.
All right, thank you so much for the honor of being here. It's been totally amazing. Thank you, Anastasia, for sharing your story. That's so amazing what the Lord's doing in your heart. Just really appreciate everybody that has shared so far. I've learned a lot. Have to-do notes, especially from Karen. So it's awesome. So I'm very, very happy to be here. I am a black belt in 2 different martial arts styles. One is Shorin-ryu Shorin-kan, which is a traditional Okinawan style, and Fight Like a Girl, which is a woman's self-defense. And I'm going to change it a little bit since we're such an intimate group. You know, I was thinking about bigger, and especially since you guys have had stories, right? 1 out of 3 women, like I already said when I said that with Janice, have been sexually assaulted in their life. It's really a bad statistic, you know, and it's mainly domestic abuse in some way, form, but all kinds of things, right? And so, but what I wanted to say, just, I used to be super shy, stuttered, had no confidence whatsoever. My husband and my son started karate, and I'm like, yeah, that's nice, that's not my thing. And so a year went by, and there was other wives and sisters and friends that were watching their friends, and they're like, well, we could get in shape, we could do something. So we all 6 of us started one day. And it's really, literally changed my life. It's brought me so much confidence and gave me opportunities that I never thought I would. But just because I'm a black belt, is this black belt, is this the reason I can defend myself? I'm doing a little talk on self-defense. She wanted me to do like a 15-minute self-defense. So that's what I'm going to kind of modify a little bit because of y'all's story. I can't believe I said y'all, I'm a northern girl.
Y'all was the best thing there is.
That's procedures. But just because I'm a black belt, sure, I've been trained, but this isn't the reason why I can defend myself. This totally isn't. And so the reason that I can defend myself in any situation is because I made a decision. Years ago, I made a decision that if I was assaulted in any way, I wasn't. I have never been assaulted as a little girl or anything like that. But if I was, which because I know a lot of people have been, I made a decision a long time ago, because if I'm in the heat of the moment, am I going to make that decision?
No.
No, I'm going to freeze. I am totally 100% going to freeze. That's why I'm taking off my gi, my black, my belt, because it's just me. It's just me that I can make that decision. And I can decide for me to protect myself. And I have the tools. You all, no matter what size, shape, you're in shape like Brenda, you are, you have the tools inside of you. God gave you the tools that you can defend yourself. You know, and I don't know, has anybody taken any self-defense? I don't. Really? Really? Okay, awesome. Well, we're gonna do some practical things. Attitude helps. In 2012, there was a little girl in Virginia, and she was in the toy aisle of Walmart. Her mom was right around the corner, but she was in the toy aisle, and a predator came up and picked her up, right? And you know what she did? She was fighting, screaming, yelling, and he put her down, ran off. They caught him on camera, caught his license plate on camera, and arrested him, and he's in prison. Right? And the authorities asked her, why did you do that? She goes, someone came into my school and told me if anybody was to try to take me away, anyone was trying to hurt me, I would fight back. I would scream, yell, punch, do whatever I can. That's all the knowledge that she had. And he let her go. Isn't that amazing? I think that is amazing. So how many out of 5 women fight back if they're going to be assaulted? Do you guys know? One. You're right, Brenda. 1 out of 5. Now, okay, so that's 20%, right? 20%, 1 out of 5. So let's look at 100 people. So 20 people. Out of those 20 people, the 20%, how many of those women, when they fight back, because those are the amount they fight back, get away with barely any scratch? What's the percentage?